The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages that we cover. This week we'll be starting with John Moffat in the town of Mendon. John, what's moving in Mendon?
Well, today I wanted to talk a little bit about Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels are a Monroe County offering to Monroe County residents to remain healthy, independent by providing great tasting, nutritious meals delivered by caring volunteers. Meals on Wheels can arrange hot daily meals to your home, a daily safety check to provide some socialization and peace of mind for family, weekly frozen meals, and weekly bag of groceries. There are several payment options. There's no eligibility requirement for the service. However, there's eligibility requirements in order to participate for the reduced cost or program. There's some of the options include a full fee or using food stamps, a sliding scale fee, or a contribution program. You can contact Meals on Wheels at 585-787-8397. And as we all know, in this type of part of the country, in this climate, sometimes it's a little tougher for some of our seniors to get out and get groceries and get meals. So I wanted to mention that today. The other thing I wanted to mention was about lithium batteries. As most of us know, a lot of the equipment that you buy now, being drills and weed eaters and even lawnmowers, have batteries, and sooner or later they do wear out or don't work anymore. And it's very important that they are hazardous waste and that you do not place them in trash or recycling bins. You can bring them to the Echo Park, and there is no appointment necessary to bring those batteries to the Echo Park. They are open Wednesdays 1 to 6:30 p.m. and Saturdays 7:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. These are single-use, non-rechargeable batteries that are used in watches, remote controls, games. Look for the words lithium on the battery. They're also found in appliances, cell phones, all kinds of power tools, as I mentioned. Some are easy to remove from the tool and some aren't, but it's very important that you do not put those in your trash bins. And that's going to cover it for me today.
All right. Thanks, John. Over to Mike in Lima. Mike, what's Lima looking like?
Hello, Chris. Thanks for hosting us again. Sue, if you're watching us online, this coming Tuesday, February 4th, the town board is going to be having its monthly meeting. There will be a presentation being done by the planning board chair, Wayne Childs, and one of the planning board members, John Waddick, regarding a comprehensive plan update at the board meeting. We'll also be considering at last, the final contract for the Siemens project here, which is the replacement of the town hall's boiler system and some ADA access upgrades and some other things that are all tied into the grant that we received from Claudia Tenney a year ago. Coming up on February 11th, we do have a public hearing regarding Water District 5, 6:30 here at the town hall. Come out and give your opinion of this potential project, which has implications for the village water customers, town of Lima, water districts 2 and 4, and all of the properties that are mentioned in the potential Water District 5. If there's any questions, you can give me a call at the town hall, 582-1130, and I'm happy to answer those. The Watershed Council is going to be offering a program on Thursday, February 13th, 6:30 p.m. Down at the Watershed Education Center, which is at Vital Park down in Lakeville. It is a deep dive on the state of our oceans. Dr. Mackenzie Geringer is going to be showing some of her exploration slides and such of creatures that exist almost 7 miles down. So you'll be able to see some very interesting bits of sea life and get her take on, what's happening with our oceans and all that. You can get more information with that with the Watershed Council, canisiuslake.org has all of the information on their website. Coming soon, we will now have a third mandated training annually. The governor's looking to put this into the budget. So currently, everybody has to take the workplace violence training and the sexual harassment training. They will be adding a sort of a computer IT component to that, where people would be taught about phishing scams and data breaches and all of those other things now that are becoming very prevalent, especially in local government, it seems. So that thing is coming to New York State. Lastly, it would not be another winter season if I did not spend a couple minutes asking you to please do not push your snow across the road. It does not matter if you own both sides of the street and you're just moving your snow from one side of the road to the other. It still leaves little trails of snow across the street. We have a lot of low axle passenger cars that do not navigate those things well. Remember, it's not just me. It's actually the law in New York State. You cannot do that. If someone wipes out their car, it's on you. It's not the town's fault that you push the snow across the road. It's yours. So there are a lot of places here in the town of Lima that's being done. You know who you are. Please do not do it anymore. And that's all I got, Chris.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Now it's over to Rick in Honeoye Falls. What's happening there?
Sorry about that. And again, it's great to be on. And again, I always enjoy this with our partners. Always great points. And Mike, you always make me smile with some of that stuff. And it's but great information. We've had over the last couple of weeks, especially, we've had some turbulent and fluctuating weather, high winds and snow to warmer weather, then rain, then turning back to snow. With that, we've seen some pretty large accidents around our area as well. I know in the village of Honeoye Falls, or town of Mendon, actually, on 15A just the other day, we had an 11-car accident, and it was, our DPW crews, our highway crews are out salting. All of our municipalities, they're out plowing and salting all the time. But with the changing weather patterns, sometimes it's just slippery. And even if you slow down, sometimes it doesn't matter. Accidents do happen. But we want people to be very careful. We want you to pay attention, watch your driving, pay attention to the changing conditions. But the other important point of that is just remember there are others that are not paying attention. So be a defensive driver. It's always a real important aspect this time of the year, especially when you live in our area, Western New York State. And we also want to make sure that on the same subject, we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks, but again, watch the conditions of the sidewalks. We have a lot of walkers in our villages. It's important to understand that many of the communities, and I'll speak to Honeoye Falls only, while we plow our residential sidewalks, we do not salt them, and we will not salt the residential sidewalks. If you as a resident want to shovel the front of your sidewalk off, which technically you're supposed to, even though we're plowing, it's still up to the resident. If you want salt or calcium on the sidewalk, that's something you have to put down. We do try to keep up with both salt and or calcium on the clear crosswalks and in the downtown corridor area. But again, even that's difficult to keep up with the ever-changing conditions. So just be careful out there, folks. Remember, it's only, beginning of February now as this is being aired. We've still got a couple months of this stuff, so be cautious. Talking about our downtown business corridor, I was really pleased to attend the grand opening or soft opening of our newest business in the village, the Jody Baker Studio. It is at 27 North Main Street, which for those who have been around a long time, that's the old Pride Hardware store right across the street from the town hall. It is a beautiful shop, fantastic artisans coming together to provide wonderful gifts for sale and different things that you might need to decorate your home. We were there yesterday and there were spices for sale, pottery for sale, paintings for sale, jewelry. I bought some great beef jerky that they were selling. That's one of my favorites, but it's just some fantastic stuff. But the other neat part of this shop is that Jody is going to be setting up all sorts of different classes on making pottery, glazing pottery, using a Cricut machine, different types of watercolor and painting, all sorts of different arts and crafts. They've already posted a whole bunch of classes that are already filled up. It's really exciting, but there'll be more. So stop down and visit Jody and all the artisans there. Check it out. It's a great shop. So we really appreciate Jody coming to the village. Couple things, actually, I think Mike was just mentioning some things that we have to watch out for that the state is mandating. There is also another mandate, if you will, that for small communities or municipal communities, we have to now harbor a .gov website. So if you go to the Village of Honeoye Falls, our website is www.villageofhoneoyefalls.org. We are now being required, at least as a municipality of under 2,500, we are now being required to host a .gov website. So we're going to be changing ours to a .gov website. We're going to keep the other one open as well. They'll link together, but I guess it has to do with, as Mike was talking about, some of the training, some of the fishing, etc. But there's more control, if you will, over a .gov website. So it's something the Village of Honeoye Falls is going to be looking at and I guess moving to, because we're told we have to. So that's another thing that's coming up. The Village of Honeoye Falls Board of Trustees meets generally every third Monday of the month. Again, as I said a couple weeks ago, except in January and February because of the holidays. We have President's Day coming up on the 17th of February, which is a Monday. So then our meeting for February will be on the 18th. That's Tuesday, the 18th. And the village has also decided every municipality has the ability to move into an executive session discussion. Normally, executive session is really supposed to be used for very specific items of discussion. Lawsuits, employee concerns or discussions. It can be anything that generally the general public is not allowed to partake in at that time. We normally have had our executive session at the end of our meetings, but there might be some things that we might want to talk about in open session. And we're also looking at the time in the evening that we have these executive sessions. So instead of having the executive sessions at the end of the meeting, if we do have to schedule executive session, we are going to move to the beginning of the meeting. And we're actually going to start, and we'll publicize this, if we are scheduling executive session we will have that for 6:30 p.m., where we would open the meeting, move directly into executive session, and then we would pause the meeting at the end of executive session and reopen the meeting for the general public to come in. And that meeting would always start at 7 p.m. as we've always been scheduled. So that's something we're going to try. We're going to see how that goes, and it's been publicized, and we'll see how it goes, and see if we continue that. Lastly, I will be in Albany, February 2nd through February 5th at the New York State Conference of Mayors legislative meetings. That's always a time for the mayors from across the state to get together, talk about legislative priorities, etc. But I also use that time, and I will this time as well. I'll be meeting with Senator Pam Helming and her team, as well as Assemblymember Lunsford and her team. They represent the town of Mendon and village of Honeoye Falls, and I'll be talking to them about projects that are important to Honeoye Falls, funding that we're looking for. Our electeds can often help us with funding sources or point us in a direction that, hey, there's this grant that's open that would fit this need. While we are looking for it, they have staff members as well that can often help us for things such as this as well. So I'll be in Albany this week, and hopefully we'll have a good meeting, and I'll have some good discussions with our elected officials that represent us in Albany. So with that, I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'll look forward to seeing everybody next week.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Mike, John, anything more to add? All set for this week. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for listening. Remember, this program airs every Sunday at 1 p.m. on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Like the page, subscribe to the channel, and those platforms will notify you when the broadcast begins. Otherwise, you can read the transcript in next week's paper. That's all for now. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.